Okay, so let's continue a bit more into Linux, right? And learning a bit of uh, more intermediate or more advanced levels of Linux work we do, because CD and create directory, those are very basic fundamentals that is also self-explanatory when you run those. But let's oh, my voice is not audible. Is it the same for all? Hello? You can hear me, Puvarasu? Okay. Marvin, can you check on your headset once? Okay, I've also pulled in a new headset. That's fine. Okay, so let's continue. So today let's walk you through a bit of advanced or bit of practical scenarios with the Linux. Okay, so let's learn a bit of regex, right? Because let's say you have a requirement of you have a file and you want to understand what are the beginning top 5 lines, right? Let me write that. Top 2 lines of a file, like if that is my requirement, or last 2 lines of a file, or let's say I have a requirement of let's say a line which starts with nav 10, or a, a word ending with any word, right? Terminating, right? So these can be typical use case scenarios, or let's say into our daily working scenarios, that where we need to have quick Linux enablement done, right? Let's say you are reading a log file and you need the first 2 lines of a log file, or you are searching for a uh, line in your log file that starts with a particular date, right? Or a word that is ending with terminating, right? Like these all can be your specific use cases, I would say, where we need uh, Linux, right? I won't say Linux, but yeah, Linux, and you can use basic Linux commands to work on these easy things, right? Okay. So if I tell you, if we start, right, let's say we start with the first criteria of top 2 lines of 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 finding top 2 lines in a particular file. How do we do that? We can use head as a command, right? Head I to let's take a file name. So you see my top 2 lines of the first 2 lines of the cs.txt. Let's see what is cs.txt file. Open another tab. Okay, so this is my file, let's say for an example, and I want to find the top first 2 lines of this file, right? So what is the command line that you can use? You can use head. So if you head hyphen n is the line number, how many lines, and then the file name, it will give you the first 2 lines of the file, right? Likewise, if you use tail, as it is, you can understand tail will give start from the end, right? So let's say tail hyphen 3 of sas.txt. So you see it gave me the last 3 lines. So last 3 are line 10, line 9, and there is a blank line, right? So it gave me the last three. Okay. Now let's say we had another use case of a line which starts with nav10. So let's see in our file, do we have such a line? Yes, let's say we have this line of nav10 and we want to find this line. So this can be typical use case when we do those debuggings for our uh, log files, right? So now to give you a specific use of these sort of use case, we need to have regular expression passed in our uh, Linux commands, right? So for this sort of use cases, you need to pass Linux commands or I would say regex commands, right? Regex will help you to get those pattern related search on your text files or on your CSVs or these kind of scenarios. So what do you mean? I mean by regex. Regex are regular expressions. So let's say caret sign, right? So caret states for beginning of a line. So any character that you place after caret means you are trying to state to the CLI, hey, anything that starts with caret, give me the output of that. So is beginning of a line. So they means I can, because there are multiple regex scenarios, I can explain you the most important ones, and rest you can also check based on your use case, because there are hundreds of regular expressions there. But you can do those manipulations if you understand the concept of let's say the top most used ones, right? So that will give you much more clarity. So let's say caret is start of a line. So your question might be, what is then the ending of a line? So ending of a line is generally dollar. Is ending of a line, right? Ending of a line, or basically what do I mean by this? Ending means if you want to say a line is there, and if you want to find this particular word terminating at end of the line, you can pass dollar sign, right? I'll show you also how to find those. Let's say I have a requirement that if there are blank lines in a file, right? So you're trying to run a script, but your script is failing with some unknown spaces or unknown blank lines which you do not require in your file, right? And you might have 10,000 of lines. It's near to impossible for you to go and manually do those tasks. Why to manually do if these kind of powerful regex are present for you, right? So in that scenarios, what you can do is it's caret and dollar. If those are placed together, they will give you the count of empty lines, right? And then let's say you want to find single characters in your file, right? So what earlier I told you, if you have want to find a particular word or a particular object at the end of a line, you can use dollar. But now let's say you have to find a particular single character in a line, right? How do you find that? You cannot use dollar, because dollar is specific to ending of a line, right? So in that scenario, you can use a dot, right? Dot will help you to find single character, right? Likewise, if you want to find a word of how many count occurrences, but how many time is that word reoccurring, 0 or 1 or 2 or how many, that you can do with star, right? 0 or more occurrences, right? So these would be the typically the most used one, and we can use multiple combinations out of these to work with our use cases. So top, the head, the line, and these regexes can be used in many multiple combinations to find most of our use cases, right? So let's take a few examples. So let's try to find out and work on this. A line which starts with now 10. So let's see whether that works or not. So what we can do is we have this file as.txt. So what we can do is grep. Now we have to pass the what is grep we now understand, right? Grep is basically uh, we are passing a filter criteria on our output files, right? Or it is saying yes, that would be the very simple example is we are doing a filtering out of the output based on some criterias or conditions that we will be passing along, right? So let's say grep of if you want to find the starting of a line, it's caret, let's say now 10. Your regular expressions will be in quotations. Otherwise, your CLI will or your shell will not be able to identify these characters and it will throw you an error. And then the file name. See, I get an output of the line that starts with nav10. Let's see whether that type of file is present or not. Yes. So there is a line that starts with nav10, right? Likewise, let's do uh, another thing. Let's find a word terminating, let's say, that ends on any line. How to do that? Terminating. Yeah. Enter. Okay. This is a wrong syntax that I did pass because I pressed an up arrow and did it. So how will terminating work? So now for start of a line, the syntax is caret, then the word. But when you're trying to find words that end in a file, that will be the word, then dot uh, the dollar sign, and then the file name, not have a full stop. Yes. So it is dollar sign at the end of the word, and that gives you the exact particular line that ends with terminating. Right? Let's see whether we had that kind of a word. Yes, we had that kind of a word on. So that is the reason why it picked up this entire line to give you the output. Let's see another thing. How many times does we have an empty line in our script? Anyone trying to say anything? Uh, Leo, can you go on mute if you are not speaking? Cool. So we had seen how we can get the first two lines, the last two lines using head and tail. We had also looked into how we can get a particular, if you're trying to track a log file, if you're trying to looking for a particular word in the log file, how can you get that? If you are looking for a word that ends on any line, we can use dollar. For start, we can use caret. So let's say if I want to find if there are any empty lines in my uh, file that I am using, do we also get that? Let's try that out. Grep -c. So what is the character that we can use? It is caret plus dollar together to take out the count of empty lines, right? Let's do that. Anything special characters that we'll be passing will be site and then the file name. So yes, so it gives you the number. So how many blank lines do you have in your file? That's one, right? So if you see, it's only one file. Let me increase it a bit. So now let's say I have one, two, three more, right? Let's see whether my output changes or not. So now you see I had added three more blank lines and it also gave me the exact output, right? What would be the third? Let's say we find how many times test is present. Okay, test word is present in this entire file, right? We want to find the count of occurrences of test, right? So what can be uh, the regular expression that we can use? That would be star, right? So let's work on this and see if we get that. Correct. Colon test star. Let's see what I get. Oh, I didn't pass the file. Okay, so if you are one more thing is if you are running a command and you missed, means let's say you made something wrong. So control key, if you press it, it's makes your terminal non-interactive, and you come out of that entire command that you are running. So it basically does a quit on your command line, right? These are small hacks. So pressing up arrow, so it can go to your last run command, right? Last day I had spoke on control and R, it's reverse search. So let's say I want to go to a particular command that I run, but it might be I ran yesterday, right? So it pressing up arrow does not solve that problem, right? So maybe you can do filtering out on the command line that you want to search, and it will basically Linux shell will do a reverse search for you, right? So these are the small things that you need to learn. Okay, so for this, you see it has picked up all the lines that has test in it and has given me the output. You see the blank lines are not printed because they did not had test in it, right? So these would be the basic small regex that we can use, and these can be used with one another, right, to make it more powerful. Right, now let's look at one of few examples when we work on any files, right? When we are trying to create any files in Linux, there are two ways, like I worked with you last time. If you are not again new to it, I'll just quickly wrap that up because that is important, because you need to work on those files day in and day out. So if you are trying to create a new file, you can do touch of new dot txt. This will create the file for you, right? But it will be a empty file, okay, if you are using touch. Now you can go out and edit those files is, let's say, nwevi. Nwevi is the editor. Nano can be one of the editor. That's up to your choice what uh, text editor you want to use in your shell terminals. So you go in and you can see at the bottom of the screen, it's the file status, right? So it's 0 lines, 0 bytes, and it is in read mode, right? So that is the reason why you do not have any mode specified. Now if you press an I, capital I or normal I, it tells you now it is in insert mode, and you can write your lines, right? Whatever we want to write. Now if you want to, let's say, save it, there are multiple ways. First, you have to go out of this insert mode. Next would be colon, W, Q, and exclamation. If you hit that, it is saving your file, right? Let's again go back. So as you see, my file is saved. Again, let's say you do not want to save your file, right? How do you come out of that? It's colon Q exclamation. You come out of your file, right? How can you quickly view this file? In we.txt, you do a cat and you view this file. Let's say you want to come to the last line of this file. Let's say you have 10,000 lines, right? And your cursor is pointing at the first line. That's generally the way. So how do you come to the last of your line? Let's say 10,000 line at go instead of pulling the cursor down one by one. If I give a shift plus G together, it will pull it down to your last line, right? Why I'm telling you these hacks? Because these hacks will help you to work on your use cases for fast efficiency, right? I'm just giving you a heads up on these things. But then there are multiple other ways. Once you start working more and more, you will find out those small hacks, and that you will be good to go. Okay. Now let's come back to our learnings, right? So the next concept that we will be learning is, see, let's learn on the join command, right? So what does join command do? Join command is basically joining two files, right? Just like in SQL, we have a join of joining two tables. Here it is joining two files, right? Next, let's say you want to you have a requirement of you have a file where it is all in lowercase, but now you want to change it to all in uppercase, right? How do we do that? There you can use again a combination of regex and also I would say tr, right? Or tr is the command uh, that we can use to change cases of words in file, right? Tr would be your go-to command, right? Now, if you have a criteria of, let's say, sorting out, right, how of a particular file objects, right? How do you, with what command line it can be done with sort, right? And then we can do ascending and descending. That's up to you how how you want to do it, and I'll also show you. Then if you want to find out the unique characters, like if you have line, the example that I gave you had line was present in all the uh, uh, line word was present in all of the lines, right? Now if I want to find the unique objects of a line, that is also can be found out. So it is unique command that we can use to find out, right? And if means these can be used in multiple uh, I would say command lines together or single, right? If you are using it for multiple commands clubbed together, those makes it more powerful, right? Another would be most important if you want to find out the like in Windows we find out the properties of a file. So in Linux we can also do that. If you want to find the properties of a particular file, we can use stats properties of a particular of a file, right? So you can use that command, right? And another would be, let's say you want to find, you have a one text file and you have two text files and you want to most both of them look alike, but if you want to find out the difference between the two, you can use diff command, right? Difference of two. So we have a lot of commands that we can use for a use case, and we can learn all of this. So let's take up one of the each and try to learn, right? Let's take up join. Oh, okay, so let me join bonus.txt with cat.txt. Right, let's see what are those there in those files. Cat of bonus. So it's $100 and dollars in those. And if I see what is in employee, employee are employee names and employee IDs, right? So let's say we want to join these two, right? Can that be done? Yes, definitely it can be done. How can be done? That's the question that we need to ask, right? So it's very, very simple. So if you know the command to use, then the matter is very simple. So join the, then it will be the two file names that you want to join, right? So components, let me put employee first. Employee. So now if you see, these got together. So 5,000 on Smith, 500 John, 3,000, and those lines got those objects got entirely joined. And moreover, okay, let me show you. Join and create a new file. Join.txt. Yes. So what I just did is, you see again, parsing two commands together. So first command what I passed is join these two, right? And what was the second command that I passed? Second command is I am telling this shell that, hey, you give me the output, but instead of printing, you take the output of the first command and create a new file for me, and also store the result of the earlier command into this uh, second part, right? So what it did, it took the output of join, created a join.txt file, and stored the output in it. So this is another typical way of using or storing outputs of your previous command. So this can be the syntax used. Let's forget join.txt. Uh, Greater than sign two times takes and stores your output in files, right? So let me do a cat of join.txt. So see, both of them got joined, right? What is the next command? So if you have any doubts in small these things, you can stop me and ask, because these are very self-explanatory. If I just show you one command line, you'll be able to understand, right? So I'm not taking much time into this, because these aren't hard concepts. That only thing is, you need to know which commands to use, because there are multiple. So at least learning the basic ones or getting the idea through it will solve most of the problems, right? So okay, let's see how do we do change cases of words in files, right? Again, let me take a file. How does employee do? So employee has small letters. So let me change entire thing into caps, right? Let's try to do that. So I said, for changing cases, you need to use tr. So it should be tr a to z to capital A to capital Z. So what I am saying, tr, wherever you find any letters between small a to small z, change it to capital A to capital Z, and then we need to pass the file name of which to pick up. So now you see, I had definitely, it got changed to all in caps, right? So likewise, if you have all in caps, you can change it to also to lowercase. So what can it be? Can you just quickly write down in chat what would be the command if you want to, let's say this is your input file and you want to change it all in small. So what would be the command that you want to use? Can you write it down in the chat, or anyone can unmute and also tell it to me? Marvin or Pugaratsu? You guys there with me? No issues. Let me only give you the answer. Or have you typed it in the chat? Okay. What would be the command if you have unmuted? Can you go ahead?
So we can pause the clear command with the file name.
Yes, TR you would be starting. So next would be if you now want to
Okay.
do a change case. So yes, we have to think of the change case part. Go ahead.
In the change case, okay, we can pass the particular line or the particular code in the file.
Yes,
Or we can
file
directly make
will
it for the file name. We can directly pass
yes.
the A to Z and then view the file name. It will completely change for all the content in the
Okay, so yes, so it will be capital A to Z at first because we are targeting these, and then it will be small a to Z because we are trying to change it to lowercase, and then the file name, right?
file.
Correct. But I do not have this saved. But okay, if you want to see the output, it's no harm. Let me just quickly save this. Okay, you said. So you see, all got changed to lower cases, right? So this is how simpler it is if you understand basic small concepts, right? It makes your life more easier. Okay, let's see a sort. Let's go a bit quick right now. So we understand. Let's see sort. Let's see unique, stat, diff. This would be the major ones, right? Let's first see sort. How does sort work? Okay, do we have a sorting file? Uh, yes. Let's do that on this one only. I don't think I have a file. Let me quickly create a sort file. Cool. I had the file created. Let me do. It's very easy. Sort and you pass the. Okay, let me first show you the file I just created. So it's starting with Emma with EAMSN. Right now I want to sort this entire thing. Right? How can we do that? It's very easy. Sort names dot text and you see the entire file system got sorted. Now one more thing I want to tell you is I am for your learning I am learning individual commands, right? But these are basically when you work, these you can club together, right? For your own use case related. Whatever you want to, let's say, extract, you can club those all the commands, most of the commands together, right? So that will give you more power on the tool that you are using, right? Once you understand, you can club commands together, right? That's one more thing I want to tell you. Okay, next would be unique. Let's see an example on unique. Okay, so you might be asking, I told you that time, I just now remembered. So this is ascending sorting, right? So if you want a descending sorting, how do you do that? It's very easy. So you just need to pass hyphen r. So hyphen r is reverse. So it will do a reverse sorting for you. Right now you see Sanjay has been on top and Alex had been at the bottom, right? So this can be a reverse sorting. So another would be if you want to go into more details, I can also show you. Let's say, sorry. So now let's say I had sorted on the characters, right? Now if you say, hey, Akash, I want to sort on the numbers. Is that possible? Yes, definitely it is possible. Why not? Let's do. It would be a bit more complex for you to make the query, but let's learn a bit also on that, right? So sort. So what I'm trying to do is, let me give you the use case first. So you see Sanjay colon 400, 500, colon 300, 100, 200. So I want these numbers to get sorted, right? So what I have to tell, I have to prepare what would be my thought is, I have to find a way where I can pick up the line starting with colon and rejecting the Sanjay Gupta or Nisha Singh, these words, and I have to focus on this numerics, right? That way only I can sort this numerics. So uh, how can I do that? So sort hyphen t tab. So it will take up the first delimiter. So if I first way is taking up the delimiter, right? So sort hyphen t colon will take my cursor when it is going into this place. Now I have to tell them the position on which I need to do that sorting, right? So space k hyphen 2. This tells them the position on which I want to do the sort, and then let's say names.txt. Now you see it had sorted my file based on the numerics, because I targeted this point and the position would be second, right? So it had done that sorting. So now you might have a question for me, why it is second? I can see this is third. Yes, it is third, but in if you have a bit of programming knowledge or any tool of knowledge, uh, when I talk about arrays in Linux, I'll talk, but it basically starts with zero as a position. So zero, one, two, right? So this is how positional arguments are taken up. Or to be very simpler, here it is two components only, because it is delimited. So it is 1 and 2, right? So I just picked up the second position and I took up the delimiter. So delimiter is this what I can say, semicolon object, which I took for my sorting object, right? To understand my where my cursor should point to do the sorting, right? Let me give you uh, work to do. Let me what I want to ask you to do is, I'm putting you in chat. I want you to sort on the last object, right? So there is marketing sales. I had done the first, I had done the second. I want you to do it for the last, right? So let me put the problem statement for you guys. I've just put that in chat. I want to ask you to sort based on tab delimited on the third field, that is the department, and also there is one more criteria, is suppress the duplicates. I do not want you to print the duplicates, right? If sales is coming twice, I do not want you to print it twice. Okay, maybe you can tell it now if you are quick on it, or I'll give you time, you can uh, do it as your homework. So if you want the data, I can also give you the input file, that you do not have to search for these sort of inputs, and you do not have to do that manual task. Input file, right? So did you understand the task? Quick task that I gave you is, you have to sort on the third position, and you have, because to go to that third position you have to use a delimiter. uh, Semicolon is a delimiter, and you have to sort based on this, either front or reverse, that's up to you. But there's again one more criteria, is once you are sorting, you should not print duplicate values. Okay, so this is the task of today. Maybe you can do today or tomorrow. uh, or if you have any doubts tomorrow, you can also ask me. That I'm also fine with that, right? Read a bit on sort, and then it will also help you to understand. Okay, one thing is reading about a command on Google. That's part one. Another thing is man. If you run man and then the command, man is basically the manual, whatever you see on our web pages. If you type a man and then any command, it will give you the entire list of what is the use of that command, what are the arguments you can pass, what are the positional arguments you can pass. Everything you can read over here, right? It's so man means manual page or that sort of thing. Right? Let's press a Q and come out. So if you are say doubtful on what positional arguments you have to target to run this, you can read a bit on this and find out the output, right? Cool. Next command, let's quickly take. If you have, let's to find the unique characters. How can you do that? Again, very soft names the text pipe. So what it did, it picked up and sorted based on the unique characters. So if all the duplicates are removed, right? This is the power of unique command. Now let's see what was another command that had. Okay, diff. Let's see diff. For diff again, I need to create two files because those has to be similar, or that's also fine if I show you two different files. That's fine. Let me see what kind of files I have. Cat of employees text. Of, let me take upper. Upper is mostly the same. Maybe names. Cat of names. Okay. So it's very simpler. So it's diff. Let's say, let me take any two files, employees and names. So you see, it has given me the difference between the two files. So most of the things are different in these two files. So that is the reason you got an entire output. So, but let's say if you have similar kind of files, right? Let me create a similar kind of file for upper.txt. Then you can find the difference. I employee one.txt. For me insert mode, let me put 500 AK. I have saved that. Now let's pass again. So now you see the different has been identified and it's given to you, right? Only line number 5 is the different. Yes, now you can do multiple combinations out of it. So let's say what was modified, right? So you can see this gives you the output of this. So if you want to remove, let's say, the do not want to consider the white spaces because it's also looking into these white spaces in between the lines or between words, you can also uh, remove those. Yeah, it's very simpler. It's hyphen w, then you remove the white spaces. So here what it does, it will only give you the exact line where the difference is, right? So only the line will be given to you. So you see this and this is mostly similar, but only on line number 500 AKSN it has the difference. So diff hyphen w and putting the file names will give you the exact difference between the two files, right? So these are the small things. Again, stat. If I say stats, it's like employee dot txt. It will give you the entire properties of that file, where it is stored, what is the birth, what is does it have links, what is the size, and what is the inode, the what is the UUID or user ID or group ID. Every details is given out on this file name, right? Yeah, so these would be the major ones. I would say if I talk about Linux commands, it's never ending, right? So do a bit of background also from your side, work on those one of the use case that I had given you. Maybe I can give you another more use case. Just quickly think on. Yes. Maybe I can give you more complex files to do. Okay, let me give you one more work to do. Let me give you an input file first. So q to input file. So I have given you a second input file. So what I need you to do is sort this based on IP addresses. So you in this you have these IP addresses. So you need to sort them with those IP addresses. Okay. Sort by IP address. Right. So this can be one of the unique things. If you are learning, it will help you to understand. Okay. So we also did that unique character sorting, right? Where was that? Let me just show you. Where did I run sort and unique together? Okay. So here we ran sort and unique together, right? And it had duplicate outputs. So what I want you to do is, again, I'm giving you this. I want you to sort, find me the only the unique values without any duplicates. I think already given you this. Yes. So you can work on this also and let me know if you have any doubts. Right? Okay, I think we can drop off for today, and maybe we see shell scripting. That I think that is more important, instead of taking each Linux commands separately. Learning shell scripts will widen your gauge on doing automation related things using uh, shell scripting. Right, that will help you a lot in those use cases. We learn sed, we learn awk, we had already learned grep. We'll learn more into that, right? Sed and awk are mostly used when we are doing file manipulations. So that you need to understand very well, right? To work more with those files. Yes, when I'm talking about sed and awk, you these regex and all that we had learned, these will build up the base for us. So because when we'll be using regex over there, you might not wonder, hey, why is this caret coming? Why is this dollar sign coming? So these questions you won't be having that day, right? Okay, so I'm done for today. Work on those tasks. Maybe we meet tomorrow, same time, right? Any doubts, guys? I'm open to questions now. If you have no questions, then I think it's a good for a wrap up. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in. Have a great day. Bye bye. Title. What is the title for today's class? Okay. Uh, Linux commands part 2. This would be the title mostly. Any other questions apart from this? Okay, if no, then great. Thanks, guys.